The twin suns of Juron Prime burned high in the sky, making the metal floors of the auction yard hot to the touch. Creatures of every shape and color filled the marketplace. Some had wings. Some had fur. Others floated above the ground. But they all had one thing in common. They were here to buy. And today, there was a special deal. Half price for the broken one, shouted the alien auctioneer. His long mouth curled into a cruel grin. His voice echoed through loudspeakers. The crowd turned their heads. Two guards dragged a girl onto the platform. She was small, thin, and missing one leg. A metal rod with wires acted as her only support. Her clothes were torn. Her body was dirty. But her eyes were sharp. Some in the crowd laughed. Does it even talk? One buyer joked, "It's not worth a food ration." Yelled another. The auctioneer raised a hand. "Come now, she's still breathing, and she's quiet. No trouble at all. Just half price." In the middle of the crowd stood a man in a long brown coat. He was human. The only one here. His name was Captain Real. He didn't laugh. He didn't move. He just stared at the girl. The girl didn't beg. She didn't cry. She didn't look afraid that she was watching. Not the auctioneer, not the crowd, but the guards' weapons. The platform screws. The timing of the gates. She was thinking. Calculating. Real's eyes narrowed. The auctioneer turned toward him. "Human, you want this one?" he joked. "Maybe for cleaning your waste room, eh?" The crowd roared with laughter. Real slowly raised one hand. "I'll take her," he said calmly. Silence fell. The auctioneer blinked. You serious?" Real nodded once. "Payment?" the auctioneer asked. Real threw a small metal chip onto the platform. "Transfer complete. Check it." A blue light blinked on the auction board. "Funds received." The auctioneer shrugged. "Fine, take your trash." The guards unlocked the slave collar. The girl didn't move. One guard kicked her forward. She stumbled and caught herself. Real walked over. He offered his hand. She stared at it, then at his face. "No chains?" she asked quietly. "No chains," Real said. She took his hand, back on the ship. The girl sat quietly in the corner of the cargo room. Real didn't speak. He gave her clean clothes, food, and a soft blanket. She didn't touch any of it. Hours passed. Finally she whispered, "Why did you buy me?" Real didn't answer. He was fixing a small device on the table. Wires, tools, parts. She watched him closely. "You don't look like a trader," she said. "I'm not," he replied. She tilted her head. "Then what are you?" Real smiled slightly. "A good question." The girl looked at her metal leg. "You know I'm not useful." "I don't agree." "You think I can cook? Clean? Spy?" "No," she frowned. "Then why?" Real looked at her. "You were the only one on that platform watching everything. Not crying, not begging, watching." She blinked. So, he said, "I think you're smarter than they know." She was quiet. Then she stood slowly. Her balance was shaky, but her hands were steady. She walked over to his table and pointed at one of the wires. "That wire's connected wrong," she said. "It'll short the circuit." Real paused. He looked at it. She was right. He grinned. "I thought so." That night she didn't sleep. She moved slowly through the hallway of the ship. No alarms went off. No doors locked her in. She could escape if she wanted, but she didn't run. Instead, she found the lower deck. Dark, full of crates and junk. She opened one. Inside was strange tech. Not human. Not known. Alien parts, weapons, maps. She touched a panel and a hologram blinked on. A galaxy map with glowing red zones. "Interesting, isn't it?" said a voice behind her. She turned quickly. Real stood in the doorway. She didn't lie. "Yes, you know what that is?" She nodded slowly. "Battle zones and routes for slave ships." Real raised an eyebrow. "You've seen them before?" She looked at the map again. "I escaped from one. He stepped closer. You weren't born a slave, were you? No, she said. I was born in the tech halls of Velar 6. I built drones before I was 10. Then raiders came. Rill leaned against the wall. I see. She looked at him. You want to use me? He shook his head. No, I want to help you remember who you are. She looked down at her leg. I'm just half a person now. He said, You're not half, you're hidden, but not broken. Silence. Then she asked softly, Do I have a name here? He nodded. What was your name before? She looked at the stars through the small window. Sira, she whispered. Then Sira it is. Rill said. Outside, the stars moved slowly. Inside the ship, something dangerous and powerful had begun to wake again. Hope. Asterisk. The engine hummed softly. As the ship moved through deep space, far from Juron Prime, outside, stars blinked like distant eyes. Inside, Sira stood alone in front of a mirror. She wasn't looking at her face. She was staring at her leg. Metal, wires, screws. Cold. Not hers. In the dining bay, Captain Rill was sipping something hot. His eyes were on a small screen, scrolling. Fast maps, codes, signals. He didn't look up when she entered, but he spoke. You didn't run. Sira sat across from him. I found something better, Rill smiled faintly. Curiosity? No, she said. Purpose. He looked up now. For a moment, they didn't speak. Then Sira leaned forward. Why did you have slaver route maps hidden in your ship? Rill didn't flinch. Because I've been hunting them. She raised an eyebrow. You're a spy? No, he replied. I'm something worse. I'm human. And I care. Later, in the workshop, Sira picked up a tool. Rill watched her quietly. You remember how to use that? He asked. She didn't answer. Instead, she took apart a broken circuit panel in 10 seconds. Her hands moved fast, smooth, like she'd never forgotten. It's muscle memory, she said softly. I thought they broke you, Rill said. They did, she replied. But only on the outside. For the first time since she boarded the ship, Sira ate a full meal. Not because she was hungry, but because she chose to. Rill had not locked her in. He didn't ask for work. He didn't call her a slave. He didn't ask questions, but she had many, that night. As the ship floated silently in space, Sira stood near the viewing deck. Her eyes stared at the stars. She whispered, Do you think stars remember who they were before they burned? Rill was behind her. He didn't answer. He just handed her a datapad. What's this? She asked. Your room access, he said. I added you to the ship's system. She blinked. You gave me full access? He nodded. You're not a prisoner. She stared at him. You trust me? He said, No, but I want to. The next day, something changed. RYL returned to the ship from a quick stop on a remote trade station. He entered the engine bay and froze. Sira was fixing the ship's core coolant system. Not just fixing. Upgrading. He watched her replace cheap tubing with insulated wiring. She rerouted power, balanced fuel ratios, and even cleaned the processor. Core. All with one leg. And zero fear. You're not hiding anymore, Rill said. She looked up. I'm tired of being less. But peace was short. That night, a silent alarm beeped in Rill's quarters. Unknown signal. Tracking ping. Close. He rushed to the control room. Sira. He shouted. She was already there. I saw it, she said. Eyes fixed on the screen. Someone is pinging us. Who? He asked. She zoomed in. A code flashed again. Then again. Her face went pale. It's them. Rill's jaw tightened. Slavers? She nodded. They put a tracker in my leg. Without a word, she grabbed a knife. Rill stopped her. There's another way. She stared at him, breathing hard. You said I wasn't a prisoner, she said. But I'm a beacon. Rill looked her in the eyes. Then we cut the signal. Not the leg. He took her to the medbay. He pulled out a scanner. The tracker was deep, almost touching bone. Can you disable it? She asked. Only if you trust me, he said. She held out her leg. Do it. Minutes later, the tracker lay dead on the table. Sierra watched it burn in a flame chamber. Her chest rose and fell. Freedom wasn't just a word anymore. It was real. Back. In her room. She looked around. It was simple. A bed, a screen, a small locker. She walked to the mirror again, touched the metal leg, then looked at her reflection. I'm not broken, she whispered. Just then, a soft voice came from the door. You're not. It was Rill. She turned. He was holding something, a small silver badge, with a single word, crew. For me? She asked. You've earned it, he said. She took it slowly, for a moment. Her fingers trembled, then she pinned it to her shirt. In the Vazadasiga. Darkness of space. One girl with one leg had done something no one else had managed. She had come back, not as a slave, not as a tool, but as Sierra, the brave. They had once put a chain around her neck. Now she was holding a wrench like a weapon. Deep inside the engine bay, sparks danced in the air. Sierra's hands moved with purpose, wires twisted, circuits pulsed. Her metal leg hissed as she shifted her. Wait. But her eyes weren't on the tool. They were on the door. It hadn't made a sound, but she felt it. Someone was watching. Rill stepped in quietly. He held a mug of hot stim coffee. You're up early, he said. I never sleep deep, Sierra replied. Still working, he sipped the drink. Bad dreams? No, she said. Bad memories, he nodded. Fair. Silence. Then she asked, why are we headed toward the outer belt? Rill smiled. You noticed? I noticed everything, she said. They were different in every way, species, culture, past. But one thing was now the same. They didn't trust silence anymore. 2. Often, silence meant danger. Later, in the control room, Rill laid out a map on the screen. This sector here, he said, pointing. Used to be slaver space. Not anymore. Now it's just ... D. Sierra studied the blinking dots. Empty sectors are never empty, she said. Exactly, Rill replied. He tapped another screen and brought up an old cargo report. This, he said, is why I went to Juron Prime. Sierra looked. The file was labeled Subject 731, Neural Adapted Species Tech Class. Missing, her hand froze. That's me, she whispered. Rill nodded. That's what I thought. The truth landed like a punch. Sierra wasn't just a random slave. She was classified cargo. Someone valuable, someone dangerous. You didn't rescue me, she said slowly. You were looking for me. Rill met her eyes. I didn't know it was you, but you were searching. Yes, he said. For the one the slavers were afraid of. Sierra turned away. For the first time since joining the ship, her hands shook, not from fear, from anger. They called me Subject 731, she said. I had a real name before they took me. A real family. You remember them? Rill asked gently. No. She whispered. But I remembered ... fire, screams, and the sound of machines breaking. Rill placed something on the table beside her. A black chip. Small, simple. What's that? She asked. Your data core, he said. I found it inside the slave tag collar. Sierra stared at it, then picked it up. Hours passed as she worked in silence. The lights dimmed around her. The ship was quiet, but inside her mind, images came. Back fuzzy, broken memories. Blueprints. Formulas. Alien tech. Weapons. Even ... Ship designs no one had ever seen before. All made by her. By a child genius turned prisoner. The chip ended with one word : classified ... and a voice cold and alien speaking. Subject 731 is not to be sold. Terminate if memory returns. Sierra dropped the chip. Her breath was heavy. I was never meant to live, she said. You weren't meant to be free, Rill corrected. But you are. The silence between them stretched long and cold. Then the ship beeped. Incoming signal, encrypted. Strange, Sierra moved first. Her fingers danced across the console. It's not human, she said. Not slaver either, Rill frowned. Can you trace it? She nodded. Already did. The screen showed coordinates. A ship. Black. Dead in space. Sierra turned to him. I want to see it, she said. Why? Because, she whispered. I think it knows who I was. Rill stared at her. Then nodded. Strap in. As the ship changed course, Sierra looked at her reflection in the dark window. Not a slave, not a girl, not just a survivor, but something more. Not just a slave. She was a key. To secrets the galaxy tried to bury. Asterisk dead ships don't whisper. But this one did. As Rill's ship approached the dark wreck floating in empty space, Sierra could hear it. Not with her ears, but deep inside her memory, a code, a rhythm, a warning from the past. Her hands clenched the railing. I've been here before, she said softly. The black ship was massive, shaped like a predator, sharp angles, no lights, no flags. Just floating, silent and alone. No movement, no signal, but something inside it was still awake. RYL scanned the structure. No life forms, power cores dead. Looks like it's been abandoned for years. Sierra shook her head. It's not dead. It's sleeping. Rill raised an eyebrow. How do you know? Because I helped design it, she said. The docking clamps locked with a hiss. As the airlock opened. The cold hit them first, dry, metallic, ancient. They stepped inside. Dark walls. Empty corridors. And then a flicker. Just one. A red light blinked near the ceiling. Sierra stopped. That's not a sensor, she said. It's a recorder. She stepped closer. The red light blinked again. Then a voice crackled out of the wall. Subject 731 detected. Welcome home. Sierra's heart dropped. I knew it, she whispered. This was one of their research ships. Rill looked around, tense. Are we safe here? No, she said. But she kept walking. Deeper inside, they found a chamber. Tables. Straps. Tools. A lab. One table still had blood on it. Small handprints. A child's. Sierra stared at it for a long time. I was here, she said. Are you sure? I remember screaming. She turned away. Something beeped on her wrist, a signal from the tracker chip Rill had removed days ago. It's picking up something, she muttered. She followed the signal to a panel in the wall. Behind it, a small memory drive sat inside a protected core. She pulled it out. What is it? Rill asked. Sierra connected it to her pad. A video played. She saw herself much younger. Both legs intact, standing in front of alien scientists. One spoke in a harsh voice. This prototype shows high neural growth. We can use it to reverse engineer human tech advantage. Another replied. If it starts remembering, eliminate immediately. The screen cut. Sierra shut the pad. That's why they marked me. Not just a slave. I was a stolen weapon. And now? Rill asked. She looked at him. I'm the only one left who knows how to stop what they were building. Suddenly, the ship shook. An explosion rocked the hallway. Rill shouted. Someone just blew our docking line. They ran to the viewport. Slaver's scout ship appeared, rising from behind a nearby moon. They followed the signal, Rill said. Sierra grabbed his arm. They want this memory drive. They'll kill us for it. Rill's eyes narrowed. Then let's not die. They ran. Back to the ship. Fire in the docking bay. Shields failing. Systems crashing. Rill jumped into the pilot's seat. Sierra grabbed a tool and ripped open the panel. Under his controls. What are you doing? He asked. Bypassing the core limiter. We need one big burn to escape. Rill didn't argue. The engines screamed. The ship tore away from the slaver scout, spinning hard. They barely made it out. In deep space again. Quiet. Wounded. Alive. Later. In the medbay, Rill patched a burn on Sierra's arm. You risked everything, he said. She looked up at him. I'm tired of running. He gave her a small nod. So what now? Sierra held up the memory drive. Now we find the humans. They need to know what's coming. Rill stood. You've changed. She gave a bitter smile. Freedom has a price. I just paid it. As the stars passed slowly by the window, Sierra didn't see herself as broken anymore. Not a slave, not a weapon, but a fighter. And someone was going to pay for what they did to her. They didn't want her dead. They wanted her erased. There was a difference. Death was easy. Erasure meant she had once existed, and now never did. The hunter ship was fast, cold, silent. It didn't chase like others. It stalked, watching, waiting, like it knew Sierra would eventually come out of hiding, because prey always does. Inside their ship, Sierra leaned over a glowing map. 3 pings in the last hour, she said. Same ship. Same pattern. Rill looked at the screen. They're mapping our route. They're not trying to catch us, she said. They're hurting us. The word hurting made Rill uneasy. He had seen traps before, pirate nets, bounty lures, ion jammers. But this felt different. Sierra, he said carefully. Who exactly did you escape from? She didn't look at him. Instead, she zoomed in on a data tag from the memory drive they'd recovered. It read, Project Silencer. Target class, neural threat, human. Sierra's voice was cold. They didn't just steal me, they built me. Rill's hand tightened on the edge of the console. How do we fight something that created you? She looked at him, steady, brave, dangerous now. We don't fight them, she said. We outsmart them. Suddenly, alarm. A red blink on the side panel. Proximity alert. Sierra rushed over. They're close, too close. She tapped furiously at the screen. No signal. They're cloaked. Rill slammed his hand on the console. Their jamming comes. Then the ship jolted. No sound. No blast. Just a quiet, sickening pulse. All lights dimmed. EMP strike, Sierra said. Our power core's unstable. Backup systems? Rill asked. Maybe. 20 seconds of shield left. She turned to him fast. I need you to trust me. I already do, he said without blinking. Then give me full access. Rill hesitated, then unlocked the ship's system. All yours, he said. Sierra's hands became a blur. She wasn't just coding. She was dancing with the machine, rerouting circuits, creating false heat signatures, triggering echo beacons across the system. Then she did something crazy. She shut off the ship's engine completely. Outside, the slaver-hunter ship stopped moving. It scanned the space. Their target had disappeared. Inside the dark cockpit, Rill whispered, They think we're dead. Sierra nodded. Then smiled. They always underestimate the broken ones. A few minutes passed. No movement from the hunter ship. Rill whispered, You planning something? Sierra pulled a small device from her jacket, a hand-built virus spike. I'm going to speak to their ship, she said. Speak? I'll tell it a story about what happens when you try to kill something you helped create. She opened a stealth channel. Plugged in the spike. Typed one word. Hello. Then another, I remember. The hunter ship blinked. Then its engines roared to life. It ran, faster than it came, vanished into deep space. Rill stared at her in shock. What did you do? I showed them I still have access, Sierra said. To their network. Their secrets, maybe even their command codes. You scared them, Rill whispered. She looked out at the stars. No, she said. I reminded them. After a long silence, Rill asked, What now? Sierra looked at the memory drive again. There's a place, she said. Old rebel station. Deep ice world. Humans used it years ago. You think someone's still there? No, she said, but their signal relay might be. He nodded. One message, she said. If it gets out, the whole galaxy will know who I am. And who's hunting you, Rill added. She gave a bitter smile. Let them come. In the cold black of space, one ship floated alone. But inside it, a girl with one leg had just made a silent declaration. I am no one's secret. No one's property. And if they wanted her back. Single quotes D have to burn for it. Asterisk long ago, they bought her for half a price. Now empires would kill to keep her silent. But today, she was going to speak. Snowstorm raged over the frozen planet. Winds howled. Ice cracked beneath Rill's boots. But Sira walked ahead, steady even with one leg. The cold didn't bother her. She'd already lived through worse. At the edge of a cliff stood a forgotten tower. Half buried, rusted. Power. Long dead. Sira pointed at it. This is it. Human Relay Outpost 9. Rill stared at the building. You sure the tower still works? She looked up at the frozen antenna. It only needs to work once. Inside, everything was broken. Ice covered the walls. Cables hung like vines. But deep below, past the old storage room, they found it, the core, a signal relay chamber. Dead for years. But not impossible to fix. Sira knelt beside the panel. Rill asked, Can you do it? Sira didn't answer. She was already working. Her fingers shook. Not from cold but pressure. She wasn't just sending a message. She was about to expose Project Silencer to every human fleet, every listening post, every commander. And once she did, there would be no going back. 2 hours passed. Then a soft green light blinked on. Signal online, she whispered. Rill stood beside her. You're sure about this? She looked at him. I've been erased once. I won't let them do it again. She uploaded the memory drive. Name, Subject 731. Real name, Sira Velan. Status, alive. Warning, slaver factions hiding advanced neural research. Human children stolen. Tech weaponized. She hit send. The signal shot into the sky like a spark. Up, into the stars. Up to whoever was listening. But silence didn't last. Within seconds, the panel lit up red. Incoming transmission. Not human. Encrypted. Hostile. S. As eyes. Widened. They found the signal. Rill swore. How fast can you shut it down? I can't, she said. They're not blocking it. They're tracing it. The sky outside cracked with thunder. A black shape fell from orbit. A ship. No lights. No flags, just like before, but bigger. Deadlier. Sira ran to the upper deck. She activated the last defense system of the old station, an ancient human turret. One shot, maybe two, not enough to win, but maybe enough to warn. The slaver ship opened its bay. Drones poured out like black insects, flying low and fast. Sira shouted to Rill, I'll hold them here. You get back to the ship. He shook his head. Not leaving you. She smiled. Then let's make them regret ever calling me half price. The turret fired. One drone exploded mid-air. Another crashed into the cliff, but there were too many. Sira grabbed a pulse rifle from the station's locker. Not made for someone with one leg. Didn't matter. She stood in front of the entrance, gun in hand. A girl once called worthless. Now the first and final line of defense. Inside the relay tower. The signal blinked. Kalan delivered. Message complete. Rill grabbed her arm. The message made it. We need to go. But Sira didn't move. Her eyes were locked on the sky. More ships coming. Bigger. One's. Not SLAV, ISRS. Human. She gasped. They heard us. Out of the clouds came a silver vessel, Earth markings. Alliance class. It dropped between them and the slaver ship. Lasers lit the sky. Missiles screamed. The slavers broke formation. They didn't fight back. They fled. A human voice rang in Sira's earpiece. This is Commander Hale of Earth Fleet 7. We received your message, Subject 731. Or should I say Velen, we've got you now. You're safe. She dropped the rifle. The snow around her quieted. Her breath steamed in the air for the first time. She felt real again, not broken, not hidden, not forgotten. Behind her, Rill smiled. Told you the galaxy just needed to hear you, she laughed softly. All it took was getting shot at by 6 drones, 1 ship, and a secret government project. The fleet hovered above like guardian angels. And below, a girl who once had no name stood tall, proving the worth of one. Once, they laughed when they sold her for half a price. Now entire fleets stood still when she entered a room. 3 days had passed since the battle on the ice world. Sira now sat in a large white room, clean, bright, silent. No chains, no guards, no collar. Just her. And her voice. Across the table sat 5 people, humans, high-ranking, serious. They had medals, uniforms, polished boots, but none of them spoke first. Sira did. My name is Velen, she said, and I remember everything. The room leaned forward. She told them about Project Silencer, about the experiments, the stolen children, the implants, the trackers, the way they broke minds and bodies, but not the will to survive. They tried to erase me, she said, but I'm still here. When she finished, no one spoke for a full minute. Then the eldest among them nodded slowly. You just gave us what we needed to expose half the slave rings in this galaxy. Sira stayed calm. Good, burn them all. Rill was waiting outside the chamber. When she walked out, he grinned. You terrify them, you know. She smirked. Good. I'm tired of being the one who's afraid. Later, she stood on the main deck of the Earth flagship Solstice. Below her, on the main view screen, hundreds of ships floated, human, allied species, independents, all connected by the same signal. A beacon. Hers. A message repeated across every frequency. This is Velen, once sold as a slave. Now free. If you can hear me, if you're hiding, if you've been taken, you are not alone. We are coming. The galaxy had a face now, not a general, not a politician, but a girl with 1 leg, a survivor who refused to die quiet. In the weeks that followed, old slave markets burned. Secret labs were shut down, captured kids were returned home. Some couldn't speak, some never would, but they all knew one name, Sira. One morning, Rill found her in the engine bay of the new ship, her ship. Small, fast, hand-built, painted on the side. 5 to 731, not as a number, as a warning. You really gonna fly this thing? Rill asked. Sira looked up. No. He raised an eyebrow. She tossed him the pilot key. We are. And so they left into the stars, as legends do. Not chasing war, but hunting silence, breaking it wherever they found it. And every time someone asked, why do you fight? She always answered, because once they said I was worth half a price, and now the galaxy remembers my name.